Africa is an energy paradox. It's rich in energy resources, including minerals, oil, and gas, but is the most energy-poor continent in the world due to its dependence on resource exports. Hi, I'm Gracelin Baskaran, Research Director and Senior Fellow for the Energy Security and Climate Change Program, and I'm here to talk about my recent brief, Achieving Universal Energy Access in Africa Amid Global Decarbonization. In 2022, 600 million people lacked access to electricity on the African continent, and 98% of them were located in sub-Saharan Africa. As a continent, Africa accounted for less than 6% of global energy consumption, despite having 18% of the world's population. This report acknowledges that without significant intervention, Africa's energy supply will not keep pace with rising demand as a result of increasing urbanization, economic growth, and a rapidly growing population. There are two reasons this report is incredibly timely. First, Sustainable Development Goal number 7 prioritizes universal energy access by 2030, and we're at a pivotal moment in history to achieve this. Second, COP28 just wrapped up, and we acknowledge the importance of energy justice. We need to reach universal energy access in the cleanest way possible, and that's a priority of this report. There are a few key insights that we identified in this brief. First, Africa is an energy paradox. It's rich in energy resources, including minerals, oil, and gas, but is the most energy-poor continent in the world due to its dependence on resource exports. Most of its energy resources are exported to North America, Asia, and Europe. Second, demand is significantly outstripping supply, and the energy crisis is deepening. In 2021, there were 4% more people in sub-Saharan Africa without access to electricity compared to 2019. Third, public finance is severely limited. High levels of debt have left countries with very limited financial resources to invest in energy infrastructure. This, in turn, requires the private sector to step in and use its capital to build the energy sector. But sub-Saharan Africa is a difficult region for the private sector to work in. This means that it is incredibly important for African countries to make the legal and regulatory reforms required to mobilize private capital. There are several key recommendations that this report makes to policymakers. The first is that we have to leverage natural gas. The International Energy Agency does various modeling scenarios as to how we can achieve universal energy access by 2030, and natural gas is a part of every scenario. 40% of all natural gas discoveries in the last decade were made in Africa. Second, we need to scale up our investments in clean energy sources. Over the last decade, Africa has received just 2.4% of renewable energy investment. If we want to reach decarbonization goals in the long term, we need to strengthen our solar, our wind, our nuclear, etc. investments, and we need to do so quickly. Third, we need to invest in infrastructure, in particular, grid, off-grid, and mini-grid infrastructure. Attaining universal energy access in sub-Saharan Africa will require building connections for 90 million people per year, a threefold increase from the current rate. And finally, we need to undertake necessary legal and regulatory reforms to help mobilize private capital. Establishing and maintaining an effective enabling environment for both public and private investment requires a good regulatory framework. When you take these recommendations together, it can help us achieve universal energy access in a way that is aligned with our goals of global decarbonization. To read the full brief, Achieving Universal Energy Access in Africa Amid Global Decarbonization, please visit csis.org.